Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited today to bring you another Christmas project, but I want you to keep in mind that this could be used for all different seasons and they're so easy to make. So let's take a look at doorknob hangers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my transfer tape, and this is why part of the reason I leave the backing on is it makes it easier to line up my design. And this is also more of a high-tack transfer tape. I really like it, so I don't usually have any problems picking up my design. There we go, piece of cake, right? I didn't even really have to burnish it. So I'm just going to try to line this up. And the reason that we have done this in reverse like this is that we are now going to put the UV resin over top of the design. That way it will also seal in the design at the same time that it will adhere the red glitter. And you can get this done with just one coat, but because it is a large design, it does use a fair amount of UV resin, okay? So just something to be prepared for. So we will attach the ribbon to one side, and then we will use the tassel on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up my UV resin. Now this UV resin, let me see. It's 120 grams. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know how much that is. I'd have to break out my calculator. But I'm going to measure out, I guess about 1/3 of an ounce. Last time I tried 1/4 of an ounce, and I'm sorry, I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but last time I measured out 1/4 of an ounce and it wasn't enough. Okay, so we're gonna try this. It's 1/3 of an ounce, and I can't really show you, but it comes about 1/3 of the way up the cup, right? Now we are going to go ahead and heap in our glitter. Now I'm doing 4 big heaping spoons of my craft stick. So that's not really like an official measurement, but when you start mixing it, you should be able to tell if you've got a good consistency mix in there. If it looks a little thin, add some more glitter. You don't want it too thick because then it won't level out as well, but you don't want it too thin because then you won't get the coverage that you need. So mix it up really well. Also, if you're not into UV resin and you just want to be able to make these without messing with UV resin or glitter, you can actually buy these shapes in glitter acrylic, red glitter acrylic, which is what smart people do. And then I could not have to work with the loose glitter, but loose glitter is very pretty. So I actually have a sample of the red glitter, and I'll try to show that to you at the end. So I'm literally pouring this straight on. I'm actually going to try to pull it towards the edges. I do the edges first anyway, so I'm not really sure why I try to pour it in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it around the edges. Okay, so I've gotten out as much as I can, but I'm not going to toss that just yet. And like I said, so I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to fast forward this for you guys, but I still want to describe to you what I'm doing. There is a limit when you're working with resin, whether it's the UV resin or 2-part epoxy. There's a limit because it's a thicker material that you can actually push this stuff right up to the edge before it goes over the lip. So that's what I'm going to do all the way around. Is I'm just going to pull it straight to the edge, and it will literally butt up to the edge of the acrylic without going over. All right, so once you have the ornament covered on the edges, just make sure it's covered good. Do smooth it out, and you can tell that through the whole process, it actually smoothed out a whole lot on its own. But if you smooth it out, a little bit of pressure, not a lot of pressure, you don't want to scrape your design, but if you smooth it out and get coverage in those areas, and I'm going to have to say, I think 1/3 of an ounce was a really good amount. I'm not using any special tools for this. I'm just literally going over, because like I said, it'll have that self-leveling aspect to it, okay? Now, if you're not quite ready for a project of this size, that's okay. I actually have a video on a smaller project. Also, we did some keychains, and it looks like I did get resin here. So what I will do is I can go ahead and cure it, and I will show you guys how to get that resin out. I have a secret tool. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the cap back on my UV resin. I'm gonna slide this up and over, and we will start the curing process. Now that's actually on there pretty thick, so that should take a while, but that's okay because we still need to make our tassel, right? So I am going to, now this is already open, all right, but obviously if it wasn't, you would just open it. And I'm going to start with one end, and I'm going to, let's let you guys see this as best I can. I'm actually going to apply some glue here on the edge and fold this up, okay? So I'm gonna let this cure for a minute. It doesn't have to cure all the way, but I just want it enough where it will stick and I don't have to hold it anymore. And then I'm going to apply a little bit more. You know what, guys? I did this backwards. All right. Sorry. All right, so you want to do this on the outside. And there is a reason, because when you fold over your design, or when you fold over your loop, you're going to want it to be the right side out. Does that make sense? So basically the underside is the backing. It doesn't have the nice pretty texture and color. All right, so once that is done, then we're gonna turn it back over. So sorry if I confused anybody there. You wanna do that on the front side, and then come back in with your super glue. And if you have them, a pair of tweezers are nice. Otherwise you can end up with super glue all over yourself like I usually do. And we want to wrap it so that this loop will be in the middle. And this is the part where, remember I said you didn't really have to have 12 inches. So you can actually roll this and keep rolling it until your tassel is the thickness that you want. And I'm just adding a single line of super glue all the way down, because then we will glue it good at the edge. I think the hardest part is rolling this in a straight line. Also, check with your leatherette vendor too, because I know that the one that I use, they have these little tassel kits. And not only does it give you a finished look to your tassel, because what it'll do is it's a cap. So you just roll up this part and you put the cap on there and you don't have to do your own loop. Okay, and it gives it more of a finished look. But it also is just a lot easier, in my opinion. So there we go. So that's our tassel. Now, if you're holding it, you will actually feel it getting warm. That is the super glue activating under there. But other than that, you just want to set it aside and let that super glue cure. But that is our tassel. We're still a little tacky, so I'm going to allow this to cure a little bit more. But like I said, that's because it's a large area, and the UV resin is actually on there pretty thick. All right, so let's check this out. Okay, so I think we're good. Now, I haven't told a lot of you this before. I left it in the comments of my last video. But a lot of times after I finish a UV resin project, especially if I think it's tacky, I will take it and put it out in the sunlight. Okay, so this is called a diamond tip reamer. And I want you to see it has like a file. Let's see. There we go. It has a file on the edge. And what you can do, now I could have taken this and I could have used it while it was cured. But a lot of times you don't notice this until it's too late, right? So you can actually use this to kind of drill through your UV resin. Okay, so it is a very handy tool to have. And I say drill, I mean this is definitely done by hand. But that file on there, I also use this like anytime I'm doing acrylics, because then I don't have to worry about cutting a hole for my hardware. Can you see? Got my hole back. So very, very easy. Now, I'm gonna turn this over. You guys ready for the reveal? This will be, I'll call this a mini reveal because obviously we are still going to finish the assembly. So pretty. It's so pretty. I always love these projects. Ooh. What do you guys think? Isn't it gorgeous? I really, really love it. And all it is, so I've used the red glitter, and that's why I chose white, because I knew that white would contrast really well with this. And then I'm gonna cut a length of ribbon. And let's see, I'm gonna go, what is that, about 6 inches? So I'm gonna say, probably give yourself about 14 inches of ribbon. And then you can also use your reamer for this, or tweezers. But you're gonna, I give the end of my ribbon a little twist, and I'm gonna go ahead and feed this through the top to pull it out the other side. But before you pull it too hard, before you pull it all the way, make sure that your ribbon is facing the right way. I know that probably sounds weird, but if once it starts curling, it gets caught in there, then you might struggle to get the right side of your ribbon facing outwards. Okay, so there we go. Cute, cute. And then all you have to do is determine where you want to, and you can tie this off. Remember, this is a doorknob hanger, so this just needs to be big enough to go around your doorknob. And then I like to give mine a tug like that. So once it's tied, you can just come in here and snip. Well, that was a fail. Snip and snip. This little decorative slice there. All right, so now let's talk about our tassel. Ta-da! So this is gonna hang off the bottom. I hope this is coming together for you guys. Now, you can attach this with ribbon. I like to attach it with jump rings. And I just have this assortment. And it has large and small jump rings in here. I think I'm only going to need the one. You know what? I'm just kidding. I'm gonna do 2. I will do 2. Okay, so I'm gonna take my jump ring. If you guys haven't worked with jump rings before, these are just little needle nose pliers. And this is where my jump ring opens, right there. So I'm gonna take, I have 2 pair. They're slightly different, but they serve the same purpose for me. And I'm just going to twist. I'm gonna twist it open. And then I can feed it through my tassel and go ahead and close it. Now I'm twisting, not pulling or pushing, all right? Twist it open and twist it closed. And then we will do the same thing here. Jump rings are just one of those things that is really good to have in your crafting arsenal in all different sizes. So we have the jump ring. Now we want to go ahead and thread our tassel on here. It doesn't matter which way. Take a hold of your jump ring. Got the dropsies. There we go. And close it. So now, dun 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 dun. I really love it. And you can use jump rings up here. I like it with the ribbon just threaded through. So now this will hang over your doorknob. You can put it on the inside or the outside, and it will be a nice decoration for people when they come over, or just for yourself. Okay, and it might be a little reminder that maybe not everybody is on the nice list this year, so they should watch out, right? All right, so that is our finished project, and I will send you some more pictures of what it looks like hanging in action. So, guys, what do we think about our new doorknob hanger? I think it is super, super cute, and they're relatively quick and easy to put together. Now, remember, we talked about the UV resin, and that's what I used for this, but you could just as easily do this with, there are tiles, okay? Might be a little heavier, a little bit more fragile. There's wood. I mean, there are just so many ways that you could do this. Now, don't forget, I did promise you that if you weren't a fan of using the UV resin, let's go ahead and talk about this glitter acrylic, okay? So I'm just saying, check with your favorite acrylic distributor and ask them if that's something that they do, because then all I would need to do is put the decal on there and apply the tassel, and it would already be just as glittery as this is today, okay? All right, guys, so hopefully I shared some tips and tricks with you on making these things. Again, just really super cute. I love them a lot, and I cannot wait to put this in my own home. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave that down below. And video requests. You know, we're coming up on a new year. It's a great time to learn new things, and Design Bundles is always here for you, right? Right. So make sure you leave that down below. Give us that quick subscribe. Share with a crafty friend. And guys, I just really appreciate it. I appreciate every time you guys visit. It really makes my day to read your comments. And I'll wrap it up, but thanks for coming, and we'll see you again next time.